Hello, hello, hello. This is Dr. Janice R. Love, also known as the First Lady Coach, and I equip seasoned pastors' wives and Christian women to have the clarity, the confidence, and the courage to walk boldly into the destiny for which she was chosen by being perfectly who God created her to be. All right, let's go. So, are you ready for reason number 6? Here we go. Reason number 6 is you are catering to your comfort zone. Now, when you think about what a comfort zone is, it's a psychological state of being where we feel safe, right? Because perhaps we are not being tested or we have gotten familiar with our situation and we are used to it. And so we want to stay right there. So it's so easy to get stuck in the comfort zone. And there's reasons why we do that. First of all, it's a safe place. It's a safe zone. We don't have to worry about uh, being embarrassed. We don't have to worry about disturbing the familiar. We don't have to change our mindset. We don't have to go ahead and get involved in stuff. We don't have to worry about perhaps giving a personal sacrifice of ourselves. And it's easy to stay there, especially if we have a fixed mindset. So, as you know, many times when I am out here talking with you, I often will share a woman in the Bible who dealt with that very same thing. And so there is a woman in the Bible who was in her comfort zone, was catering to her comfort zone until God had to help her make that change. So hopefully you know where I'm going already. But just in case you didn't know, that would be Queen Esther. And I love this picture. I found this recently, and that just represents what I think Queen Esther would look like. All right. So when you think about Queen Esther, she was very safe. She was in a very safe place being in the palace. Even though she had been through so much in her life, both of her parents dying, having to relocate to stay with her cousin Mordecai, cousin, uncle, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter to me. But she had to leave where she grew up and knew things to go to a strange family, right? And to a strange situation. Plus, she got not recruited, but dragged into the beauty contest, right? To see if she was beautiful enough to be queen, and if she would was be able to please the king to be able to be queen. So again, we know that she went through some things, but once she became queen, she was safe. She felt like she was safe because all she really had to do, right, was wait on the king to call her and also just make sure she looked good at all times and made sure that she kept the king happy whenever he called on her. So she was very much in a safe zone. So when it came time for her to step out on faith or to step out of that comfort zone and stop catering to that comfort zone, we know that that was a challenge for her. So when her cousin basically made the request that I need you, and y'all, you know I'm not going to go through the Esther story, right? And if you follow me in any kind of way, you know that I talk about Esther all the time. So if you've been hanging with me and you have not read the Esther story, please go back and read it because I talk about Esther a lot because she is so representative of what I desire to do to help women to clearly walk in the calling and in their purpose and do the things that God assigned them to do. All right, so here's Esther when she was catering to her comfort zone. She basically said, everyone knows there is a single fate for any man or woman who approaches the king without being invited. That means death. And she basically said that he hadn't invited her in 30 days. And sorry about that typo, y'all, but maybe you didn't even notice it. But he hasn't invited me for 30 days. So when you look at where she was in catering to her comfort zone, she was afraid. She was afraid of being exposed. She was afraid of maybe being embarrassed, maybe if he didn't accept her. She feared literally for her life. So why step out of that? Why would anybody want to step out of that for something that in her mind that maybe didn't have anything to do with her because she was in a safe space? But of course, we don't know that. We know the story didn't end that way. So, what I want to share with you are some lessons that I learned from Esther when she decided to step out of her comfort zone and stop catering to her comfort zone so that she could fully live a purpose driven life. Are you ready? Okay, so the very first thing that Esther did, and again, I love this story, you all. Can you figure that out by now? Anyway, the very first thing that she did and what you would have to do to stop catering to your comfort zone is to come out of identity protection mode. Now, many of us are we have our identity, and sometimes we don't even truly understand who our identity is in Christ. And I got to answer from that because one of the very first things I do with women when I am working with them is I help them to clearly see what their God identity is. I have some special tools, y'all, that work miracles. So not only can we get that God identity, we can also get that God resume. But if you don't know who you are, and oftentimes we may have a certain persona, we will go into identity protection mode, trying to protect who we are, especially if we feel like if who we really are is revealed, that it could put us in a dangerous situation. So we know that Esther finally made a decision, even though she had been instructed that to keep your identity quiet, don't tell people what your race is, right? We know that she had to step out on faith and get out of the identity protection program and reveal who she was in order to accomplish the task. So for you, once again, is that we have to quit playing small. We have to step into the identity that God gave us and be willing to trust that he's the one that made you that way. And so he's going to take care of all of it. So Nelson Mandela had a quote once that I just want to share with you all. And he says, there is no passion to be found in playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. And think about that in your life. If you are not living out your true identity, you'll never be who God created you to be. So step out of the identity protection program. That's the very first thing you have to do to get out of that comfort zone. All right, still with me here. So the very second thing that you would need to do in order to stop catering to your comfort zone and to fully live a purpose driven life is that you would have to change your mindset. Now, changing your mindset sometimes is a difficult challenge because again, as we are thinking, especially if we're afraid, we tend to think the worst. So just like Esther, when she was presented with that challenge, first thing she thought about was that I could die. She didn't think about the fact that she had smitten that man and that he was head over heels crazy about her, and that anything she asked for, she could have. She forgot all about that, right? Just because she hadn't been asked for in 30 days. Maybe the man was busy, right? But we know that man was crazy about Esther. But she automatically thought the worst. Oh my gosh, I can die. Or everybody knows the law. I can't break the law because I'm going to get in trouble. So she automatically thought the worst. And sometimes when we are afraid to step out on faith and really do what it is that we're being asked to do, we start thinking the worst. We start thinking about all the what ifs, the shoulda, coulda, the what ifs. What if this happens? If I do this, is this going to happen? And sometimes our mind will go to the worst and scare us half to death so that we stand still and we don't even move. So when we change our mindset, we start looking at things from God's perspective. We start thinking on the positive. We start thinking that perhaps this is the moment for which I was created, like Esther did. And again, her Mordecai had to set her straight, right? Says, hey, don't you realize that all your blessings that everything that's happened to you maybe happened to put you in this place. In other words, baby girl, go back through your God resume, right? And see where God has brought you. And you think He's gonna put you all the way in that palace and not help you in this situation? Girl, get a grip, right? He had to say that to her. I have to put it in my terms, you all, because I'm sure he said it in such a way that made her say, you know what? So anyway, again, we have to change our mindset, not always think the negative. So what I love is one of my favorite scriptures in order to really think more positively and to think on the positive, not the negative, is Philippians 4. And I really like Philippians 4, 6, and 7, but 8 is the bomb. 8 is the one that I love the most. And I'm going to read it to you from the message version. It says, summing it up, friends, I'd say you'll do best by filling your minds and meditating on things true, noble, reputable, authentic, compelling, gracious, the best, not the worst, the beautiful, not the ugly, things to praise, not things to curse. Put into practice what you have learned from me, what you heard and saw and realized. Do that. And God, who makes everything work together, remember that Romans 8 and 28, and God, who makes everything work together, will work you into his most excellent harmonies. Now, don't you just love that? If that doesn't help you change your mindset, then I don't know what will. But again, the word clearly encourages us to take our thoughts captive. So when we change our mindset, we're more willing to step out of our comfort zone, because now we're not suddenly thinking the worst is always going to happen. And we're more willing to step out on faith. Now, sometimes we need a little help changing that mindset, like Esther did, but that's okay. God will do that too. Look, I got so excited, I almost got choked. Anyway, let's go on. Are you ready for the thing that you can do? Thirdly, in order to help you to move out of that comfort zone, stop catering to it, and then fully live a purpose driven life. And the third thing, of course, is to take action. Again, we know that what happened with Esther, as soon as she made up her mind, changed her mindset, came out of the identity protection program, the very first thing she did was take action. She delegated, as I would call it. What she did was to tell her cousin, y'all pray for me, y'all fast. I'm going to do it for 3 days. And we, even though it doesn't say she prayed, we know that if she was fasting, she was praying too. Okay. And so she took action, and then she came up with her plan, and she handled the situation and did exactly what she was created to do, fully living a purpose-driven life. So once again, remember, if you are desiring to not stay stuck in that comfort zone or to keep catering to your comfort zone, then there's things you got to do. First of all, you have to, let's go back, let me show you. Well, first of all, you have to come out of the identity protection mode and be who God created you to be. And again, because he created you, there's no need to protect who you are, because he created you that way. And again, perfect way to find out who you are is to get a God ID, which if you want to know more about that, let me know. All right. Also, the second thing you have to do is to change your mindset. Again, believe that with God, all things are possible, and that if he put you in a situation, he is going to bring you through it. So there's no need to keep thinking that the worst is going to happen. And then finally, you got to take action. You got to get busy and take action. As soon as you have done those first two things, then you will be motivated to take action. All right. So remember, we talked about the God resume. Remember, we talked about that in session number 4. And I promised you that I would get you information about how you can sign up for the God Resume Boot Camp, 5-day God Resume Boot Camp. Let me tell you a little bit about it. It is going to start officially next week. So you can actually sign up now for this free 5-day God Resume Boot Camp so that you can come out of this knowing exactly the things that they experiences you've had, the things that God placed in your life, all the things that you would need to truly have documentation about how God has shown up over and over again in your life and what He has blessed you with, skills and abilities. You know what a regular resume looks like, right? So, this is a God as resume, and it's all about God. So, if you want to register for the God resume, and again, you'll be able to. It's 5 days. The lessons will automatically come out to you. We probably will have a live session or two that where we can get to know one another and just conversate. But register at www.godresume.live. www.godresume.live. One more time, www.godresume.live. Okay. And this is going to be so much fun. So I would love to have you as part of that so we can get your God resume so you can know beyond a shadow of a doubt and get some clues about how you can begin to fully live a purpose-driven life. All right. So that is what we will have to do. All right. So that's pretty much all I have for tonight. I've said a mouthful already, but guess what, you all? I am not even live. I signed up to help out at Bible school tonight. And I was trying to figure out how I was going to do my 7 o'clock and be here and be at Bible school. But look at God. Technology is a wonderful thing when it works. So if I haven't responded to your comments, I will do them in the comment box, just like you do. I will respond to your comments. So please leave your comments. And again, thank you so much for joining me on tonight. Again, we'll be back here Sunday night. It's Father's Day and the day before Juneteenth, but we will be here to give you reason number 7 for why women are not fully living a purpose-driven life. And of course, we will provide a solution for you. All right, so have a wonderful evening. As always, thank you for joining me. And I am Dr. Janice R. Love, also known as the First Lady Coach.